From new state laws to renewed federal initiatives, immigration policy is changing fast, and the impact is being felt across our state here of North Carolina. WRAL's Cristin Severance shows us how these changes are playing out in her latest documentary, Crossing Borders, Immigration and Division in North Carolina. Earlier, we talked about what you can expect. Okay, Cristin, so we have the documentary airing tonight after this newscast. I know you spent a lot of time talking to lawmakers, seeing what they are planning to do. Give us an idea of what you learned there.
We're tracking 3 different bills, all dealing with immigration, and all have to deal with law enforcement or the sheriff's department and how they are working with ICE. We really get into House Bill 318. It was introduced this year. It would require sheriff's departments to notify ICE 2 hours before a migrant with a detainer is released. Right now, Representative Destin Hall, who sponsored the bill, said he needed to file this one because certain sheriffs across the state were not complying.
It's basically they're playing games, and they're playing games with public safety of the people of the state by not cooperating with ICE.
So I can understand the need for law enforcement to work as a united front, regardless of what the topic is. But when it comes to immigration, Democrats have some arguments against this specifically. What are they saying?
So we talked to Democratic Representative Deb Butler. She's part of a caucus fighting, some of these immigration bills. She basically says that one of them, Senate Bill 153, would deputize the Highway Patrol. And she believes that, these laws are really anti-immigrant.
I guess we're going to weaponize our Highway Patrol to patrol interstates and profile people, I guess, and check their papers. We've come to the place where you're going to have to check your papers.
So that is some of the big picture stuff, but let's zoom in a bit. Can you tell us more about the personal stories from some of the people who you met?
The personal stories, I would say that is the heart of this documentary. So we talked to Yolanda Zavala. She came to the U.S. nearly 30 years ago from Mexico. She brought her family, including her son, who was just 5 years old at the time. So she became a legal resident, but her son did not. He was pulled over, he was arrested in Wake County and deported under a program called 287G.
I think that I felt guilty for having brought him to this country. I wanted to give them a good life, but I didn't think that my son would end up in jail. After he was deported, he stayed at the border. He didn't know anyone there. He came here when he was small. He came when he was like 5 years old.
We also revisit the death of Wake County Deputy Ned Bird, a K-9 officer. You may remember this story. He was shot and killed in the line of duty in 2022. 2 undocumented brothers, both previously deported, were charged with his murder.
I have friends that are like, no, everybody that comes here is, just looking for a better way of life. And I get that. There are. And I love that, But you have to realize that there's also very bad actors, right? If they get here and they are bad actors and they are going to do bad things, and this is the exact evidence of that. These are the things that happen, right?
All of our viewers recognize this as a relevant and important topic, and it's why we are seeing it on the news everywhere. You can find it talked about a lot on Fox News, CNN, MSNBC. They're talking about this constantly. What is different, though, when it comes to the documentary that will air tonight?
I think we hear a lot about immigration. We see a lot of immigration stories, but very rarely in one place can you see these personal human stories from many different sides. And I think that is why this documentary is different. And I think if people watch it with an open mind, they are going to learn something and they are going to feel something.
All right. Cristin, thank you.
You bet.